Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. I'm Pyne, one of the producers and animators, and also one of the voices of our new series, Long Story Shorts. Thank you so much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. And this Q&A today is going to answer some of your questions about how this sweet little series was made. So I'm going to kick it off by answering a question that I wrote down on this piece of paper for no reason in particular. What topics are you going to cover next? That's actually a really great question, and it's one that we're hoping you can help us answer, especially you teachers. We love hearing that these videos are being used in different curriculums, so keep the topics coming. What's useful to you? Coral bleaching, deep sea mining, let us know. There's also a Hey Teachers section in the descriptions of each video on Vimeo or YouTube that will outline how that video can be most used in your curriculum. So very useful. And we have some French captions coming out soon too. Okay, I'm gonna kick things over to our amazingly talented illustrator, Mercedes, who's gonna show you from start to finish how these incredible assets are made. So keep watching.
Hi, my name is Mercedes Minck, and this is Rupert, my studio assistant. We're from Prince George, BC, and I'm the illustrator who worked on Long Story Short. Up next, I'm gonna show you how I work on an illustration from start to finish, so stay tuned, and after that, look out for Kristina.
Okay, my first step for creating an illustration for animating is to go online and grab some reference photos just so I can have a good approximation of what my creature looks like and I can pull some accurate colors. After I have got my references, I like to begin illustrating, and this illustration style is not quite the same as painting or drawing. I have to kind of puzzle piece it together, so it's almost like making a puppet, but on the computer. So at this phase, I create a couple different shapes. So I have the legs, the jaw, I have a tongue, and then I have a back tail. And these are all on separate layers so that when our animators go in, they can grab these separate pieces and make the puppet move and make it look a little bit less static and more fluid. After I have finished creating my shapes, I move into my favorite phase, which is the texture and coloring phase. And I could spend hours here. I probably do spend hours here just nitpicking and going back and making sure the textures are right. I have a lot of neat brushes I can use that do really bring the fish to life and kind of imitate textures on real fish. And yeah, I could spend hours here. It's the best part. After I've done coloring, I go into my cleanup phase because I am a little bit messy when I work, which you probably can't tell at high speeds. But at this part, I go in, make sure all my shapes are tightened up, make sure it represents the reference photo as best as possible. And then from there, I kind of go in and add more details because I simply can't help myself. I have to finesse it. And from here, I kind of do a once-over, make sure everything is okay, and have a little look for any more mistakes because you really can miss the tiny stuff. From there, I have completed our fish and it is ready to be animated.
I'm Kristina, I'm in Victoria, BC, and I'm one of the editors and animators for Hakai's new series, Long Story Shorts. You may also recognize my voice from the series. This series was so fun to put together, and it's been really interesting to hear some of the questions that you all have for us about the process. Somebody asked what our favorite episode to work on was and what were some of the challenges. Well, I can only answer for myself, but I loved working on broadcast spawning. This was the first episode of the series. It was the first that I had personally put together, and it was just a challenge to figure out how to make all of Grant's footage and Mercedes' illustrations come together and set a tone and a style for the rest of the series. But I really liked how the video came out, and I learned a lot about how mussels reproduce, which I had never thought about before. And Josh, our producer on the series, answers a lot of my science questions, and now he's gonna answer some of your science questions.
Hey, I'm Josh Silberg. I'm here in North Vancouver, BC. I do science communications for the Hakai Institute and was also the science advisor for Long Story Shorts. One of the best parts about this series was that as you get introduced to a topic, it starts to lead you to ask more questions, like this one from Little Sea Dive, who asked, after watching the broadcast spawning episode If Mussels Could Spawn More Than Once Per Year, for some broadcast spawners, like corals in some places, they only do it once when the moon and tides are just right. And then there's other broadcast spawners like mussels that can do it more than once per year, as long as the conditions are right. So keep those questions coming in. Keep asking more and more questions. We're gonna have 10 more episodes of Long Story Shorts later this year. And in the meantime, we're super excited. Our next series, we're gonna shrink down into the micro worlds. Our whole first season is on plankton, and we hope you check it out.
Dive beneath the surface of the vast North Pacific Ocean. Shrink down and discover the wonderful lives of the tiny, the miniature, the micro world. Drifters, swept along by the current. These are plankton. Living epic lives just out of sight, they're some of the most bizarre and otherworldly plants and animals on Earth. Though many of these critters are too small to see with your own eyes, they're some of the most abundant life in the oceans. And without them, the world as we know it would cease to exist. Come with us to experience the ocean like you've never seen it before in Season 1 of Micro Worlds, Plankton.